This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed are the speaker's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of their affiliated organizations.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Ready to Connect. I'm Lisa.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we kick off our series of Cryptids across America. I'm very excited for that. I know. But before we start, love to hear what y'all been up to.
Ryan, what'd you do this weekend?
Oh, I was going to say, who's going to go first?
Yeah, who's on first?
Well, actually, there's been a couple interesting things happening. I'd say signs from the universe here. But I guess first I'll tell a story about Watson. So I think I mentioned it earlier, or a couple episodes back, or maybe it was last year now. I don't remember. But I mentioned how Watson, he has started to like nod his head to say like what he wants. Well, now he has gone further in depth with that, and if he's saying yes, he'll kind of nod his head to the right, and if it's no, he'll nod his head to the left. And I'm like, where did you pick this up? But he's teaching us, what he wants, and it's incredible to see. I don't know how he learned that, but it's pretty cool.
You got to try those speech buttons with him that I have with my cat. Really do. I bet you he would do those.
Yeah. It's so fascinating to see what he's picking up. Even though, I don't know, I thought he would like pick up everything when he was younger, but he's still learning now. So he's just a sponge.
Corgis are super smart. They're very smart animals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, they were highly prized by the queen. So
yeah,
that's true. That's
for
true.
Being so smart. But in the animal kingdom, there is a natural organic answers that all animals do. Usually when their left eye winks, it means yes. And when they say no, they wink their right eye. So he's not winking at you, but he's definitely tilting his head. So
right.
he's naturally picked up on yes and no. I know Mr. Sophie over here, when I say something, he'll give me clear winks of yes or no. And sometimes it's just, the look of go away, mom.
Right.
So definitely. And I'm sure over there, I know I've hung around Lisa's, Odin and Sully, and Sully will do the winks as well. Left for yes and no, right for no. And well, Mr. Odin being one-eyed, he's just very vocal about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Odin's just vocal. He's just
right.
vocal.
He adopted. Because he only has one eye, he doesn't have the ability to wink, for no, but he can wink for yes.
Wow. Oh, that's incredible.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So what'd you do? Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Well, didn't really do much fun, I guess. I don't know, but something that we did start up though is, I guess I could announce it on the show here. We started up a local TV show called The Local Lens, where we're promoting local businesses and organizations, just shining the light on other businesses and organizations. And so after filming the first episode last week, I came home and I was letting Watson out, and we were just going for our walks like we usually do. And then I found a white feather, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, this is different. And because I usually don't see those. So I was like, all right, I'm going to hold on to it. And then a couple days later, I was like thinking about the TV show, and I'm like, okay, is this the right direction? Something like that. And then I saw another white feather just out in the yard, and I was like, wow, okay. And then this morning, saw a huge dragonfly just on our screen door. And
nice.
Watson was the one who alerted me of it because he saw it. He kind of like woofed at it and started wagging his tail. And I'm like, nobody, dragonflies are friends. Like, we're not going to go after it. So
friends, not food.
Yeah, exactly. So now Watson's just like sitting there staring at it. But I did take a picture of the dragonfly. It was a huge one. I'm used to seeing
Oh,
like the smaller ones.
yeah, send it to
So
me. I'll put it up on our socials.
okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's incredible. And I don't know why it's on our screen door other than I looked it up. It's about transformation and all of that. So
It
pretty
is.
cool.
It is. Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So yeah, so those are just all the signs and interesting things happening, and so yeah. But what about both of you? Anyone want to share what you've been up to?
Well, Lisa, you had an exciting weekend.
Oh gosh, I
Oh,
had an exciting week. I took my husband and I, we took some time off and went down to the Jersey Shore area down by Cape May and spent some time on the beach, which was a lot of fun. We kind of availed ourselves of everything that was free. Free
mm,
movies on the beach, free concerts in the park, and they had a July Christmas in July fest with a free boat parade, which was a lot of fun. And from there, we went to New York City. We like to go to the city. We like to see shows and go to the restaurants and of course catch a Met game. So we did catch a Met game. They ended up winning, which was great. A lot of home runs. So we excited. Got a giveaway. I have a jersey of somebody. I don't know who they are, but I'm sure somebody does. But we went to go see the Broadway show MJ the musical. Michael
oh,
Jackson the musical, and it was amazing. So I love this music. I think he's an amazing performer and musician. And here's my playbill. It was just the actor that they had playing Michael and young Michael, and they had actors playing him at various ages too. They
mm,
were phenomenal. And I mean, I have old 45 records of the Jackson 5.
yeah.
And to see them, well, it's not the real Jackson 5, but to see that being performed, it was really cool. And when we were there, of course, I thought of you, Ryan, because when we were at the London, Waiting for London concert that we went to go to up in Vernon, the Vernon Fest, I got to meet one of your childhood friends.
Oh yes.
And she told me that you and her, spent a lot of time together. I said, well, tell me a story about young Ryan. I'd love to be able to share it just because I just need to know. And she said that you love Michael Jackson yourself
Yes.
and that you used to like to either sing or perform like him or whatever when you were young and so I got something for you.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's too bad we're not in studio today because I would love to pass it off, but I did not get you a sparkly glove instead because I didn't think you'd go around wearing a sparkly glove. But I got you the sparkly socks.
Oh wow.
The little silver socks he would
Yep.
wear.
Yep.
So I got you sparkly silver socks with Michael Jackson on it. I don't know if you could see.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them to you. And whenever you perform, you can wear your sparkly socks and channel your inner Michael.
Well, thank you. That's
Yes.
appreciated.
Yes. We had a great time. And I'm sitting there and, to look around and his music didn't just touch my generation, right? Because, I'm looking around and there are children all the way up to older than me.
Yeah.
And, this man and his philanthropic ways, his generosity is just really, it set the bar for a lot of musicians, I think. And it was just really, really interesting to learn certain things that I didn't know. And then just the music, of course, was amazing.
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
yeah. And that being a definite highlight, but one of the highlights of my whole trip, which I made my husband endure, I made him walk 1.5 miles from our hotel to the East Village to the Strand bookstore. So this bookstore called the Strand is pretty well known in the city. It's got more than one location, but it's huge. It's huge. I took photos. I'll have to send them, or maybe I'll put them up on Patreon or whatever. It's used and new books, and I love a good used bookstore. And I think I spent 2.5 hours there. My husband is a saint. He's an absolute saint to wait. And, he's looking at books himself, but, this is my interest, of course. And he was a saint to walk the 1.5 miles down and walk the 1.5 miles back to the hotel. So 3 miles of walking in just to the bookstore, 2.5 hours to the bookstore, just looking around books. Of course, I walked out with some used books, of course. But they had outside the store, like carts. I don't know, must have been a dozen or more carts filled with books outside of used books that are $3 to $5, you know? It's like,
Wow.
oh, nice, you know. But it was just, I don't know. I've always heard about it and I wanted to see it, so I finally went. So that was kind of cool for me too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I had a lot of experiences. I you know, there's more, but we'll stop there.
Well,
What
it
about
sounds
you,
like
Heather?
it was an adventure.
It was an adventure for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I tell you, I think that day that we walked down to the bookstore, because we walked everywhere, except for to City Field. We took the 7 train down to City Field, but I think that day, I don't know, I had over 17,000 steps on my Fitbit. So
Wow.
yeah, it almost rivals being in Disney World.
Mm.
Because at Disney World, I think I've gotten like up to 20,000 steps in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, my legs and feet are a little hurty. Yeah.
Lots of magnesium for you.
Yeah. Got that right. How about you, Heather?
Well, it was such a beautiful weekend here. I was out on the kayak, got out on the kayak and paddled around in a few different places. Just really enjoying the weather, and had some family over, and we did a little picnic, which is always nice. And of course, one of our favorite things to do on the weekends is just sit around with friends and family and play cards. And we learned a new game. Absolutely hysterical. Doesn't require a lot of work. You play it in the style of goldfish. And
Okay, I gotta learn this game.
It's hysterical. So instead of having number cards like your regular old, plain old crazy or goldfish, you have cards that have different sayings on them, and then you do it like goldfish, right? But at first you're all timid because you're telling someone. So when you don't have the card the person's asking for, you have to tell them to go themselves. And so at first you're like, we're playing with my dad. So like, I ask him for a card and he's like, he's trying to hide it. He doesn't want to say this to me. Right. And then I asked him for a card, and of course I have to tell, vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's really awkward in the beginning, but then towards the end of the game, it's absolutely hysterical because just the sayings on the cards that you have to match are very witty, and they're very it's not for kids, definitely not for kids.
Where did you get this game? I gotta find it. Walmart.
Walmart.
I gotta go check it out.
It's hysterical. We played for hours. It was so much fun. We also played 5 Crowns, which we enjoy playing that too.
Mhm.
But just a nice weekend. But one of the things that happened over the weekend was very interesting. I was sitting in the living room, it was night, getting ready to wind down, watching TV. By the way, if you guys have Peacock, which I know you do, Lisa.
Yep.
There's a series on right now called Ripper Street.
Yeah, you told me about it. Yeah.
Ripper. Wow. It's not gory either, which is good because, late at night, you don't want to be watching the gory stuff. Really good series. Anyway, sitting there, jumped into, settling into my chair, watching Ripper Street, and all of a sudden, all I could smell, and I don't have a dog, was wet dog. It was so intense. It was so gross and so stinky. And I know Ryan knows what I'm talking about because he has a dog. And when they get wet, it is like the worst smell in the world. And for 20 minutes, right in the living room, right in front of me, all you could smell was this wet dog. So I tried to communicate with it. Who are you? What are you doing here? Of course, no answer. All I could do is smell a wet dog. So if someone is missing their wet dog, they were spiritually with me on Saturday. If not, I'm not sure who came to visit. It was very interesting, but spirit sense again, wet dog. So not sure who the wet dog belongs to. If I do figure it out, we'll let everybody know. But for now, just the wet dog came and visit.
Wow.
It's the mystery of the wet dog.
It's the mystery of the wet dog stinking up my living room to the point where I had to light a candle because it was like, this is
Oh,
gross.
wow. Oh, my goodness. That is quite the experience.
This is gross. But so today,
Yes.
today we had a blast recording dynamic people in our community, but I am totally stoked to get into the next subject.
Yes, the cryptids across America. And let that be known that our listeners, that our Patreon subscribers, we polled them, and this is the number one response that we got from them to go into next, which was cryptids across America.
So fun. I can't wait to dig in. And but what is a cryptid, right?
Like, hit us with a definition.
So cryptid is an animal or a plant whose existence has been suggested often through folklore or unverified sightings, indigenous accounts, even circumstantial evidence. But it is recognized throughout mainstream science or even in zoology. What makes it a cryptid is lack of scientific proof, right? Like the chupacabra. That is something, although I think nowadays people do have, some images of the chupacabra, but there are lots of different things out there. Bigfoot is also considered, or Sasquatch is considered, a cryptid, Loch Ness Monster. So we have, general baseline of what a cryptid is. I even think in our series of Ghosts Across America, we talked about the Mothman down in Tennessee. That's considered a cryptid. But cryptids are basically animals with lack of scientific proof or no definitive physical evidence, or without a preserved body or a live specimen. But cryptids go around cultural and folklore roots. And then, of course, cryptozoology, the study of cryptids, that there are many people out there who actually do this full time, searching for animals in their existence, about disputed or even unsubstantiated creatures. So this is going to be a fun series. I'm really looking forward to digging in. I know you guys did your homework. I did my homework. So
yeah. So we're starting like we did for Haunted America. We're going to start in the New England states and then go across the United States. And we are not reporting on anything that is Bigfoot related, as we're going to do a separate series for Bigfoot, since that is one cryptid that seems to be sighted in most all of our states, I believe.
And just recently down in Norwich, Connecticut.
I know.
So.
Yeah. And of course, anything that's alien or UFO related, we'll save that for another series as well. But yeah, so today we're doing the states of Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. So should we get our cryptids on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
let's get ready to connect.
Yeah. I think this is kind of the most fascinating thing for me too. I enjoy the cryptid thing. And just so it be known to our listeners too, if you're a Patreon subscriber, we will be having bonus content with extra cryptids that we don't report here that we have found in the States. And so if you are a Patreon subscriber, definitely check in that bonus content when it gets uploaded. All right. Should we start?
We should, but we should also put out there, anybody out there that knows of a cryptid and has seen a cryptid or is into this, please reach out. Please tell us what you're doing in your state, in your hometown, maybe a cryptid that isn't coming up in our research that we can report on. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Facebook, right? We have a Facebook page. We have the Patreon. We have YouTube. There's many ways. We have an email. What is the email, Ryan?
Oh, let's see.
Ready to connect at gmail.com, right?
I think it's ready to connect podcast
at gmail.com.
There we go. So email us. I put you on the spot.
Yep.
I saw that. I was like,
yep.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, no worries. I'm like, I don't have that readily available right now.
We're keeping you awake over there. Keeping you awake.
Yeah. But you're bringing up a good point. If a listener wants to contact us to tell us their story, maybe perhaps if they want to, email us, we can share it on an episode if they feel comfortable with that, or if they actually want to be on an episode.
Yeah.
We can do it over Zoom. They could share their
Absolutely.
story.
Yeah, come on this. Yeah, totally encourage all of our listeners. Please come on, talk about your cryptid. You don't even have to come to us. We can do it right over the computer. Very easy. If you have a smartphone, you're ready to go. And if anybody has some pictures, I definitely want to see some pictures.
Absolutely.
We all do. We all do.
Yeah. All right. Who's going first?
Well, should we start at the very top at Maine?
Yeah, might as well start at the
Let's do
top
it.
and work our way down.
Okay, so I found many, many, many cryptids in Maine. A lot of them come from the lumberjack lore of Maine. So I'm only going to report on 3, and we'll put the rest as bonus content. And the first one I'm going to start with is an animal that you find in Maine, the moose, but this is called the specter moose.
Ah, okay.
So it's a legendary creature, of course, coming out of lore. It's said to roam in the deep forests of northern Maine. Of course, it's described as the fog shrouded. So there's always fog around the specter moose. It's named for its ghostly white or pale gray coat. And do know there is such thing as an albino moose. I found this out. I did not realize there's such thing as an albino moose, but there is. This is not the albino moose because it stands between 10 to 15 feet tall. So it's much larger than a regular moose. It weighs nearly 2,500 pounds. And it has an enormous rack of antlers that span 10 to 12 feet, which is immense. So by comparison, a typical bull moose in Maine weighs around 800 to 900 pounds and stood about 6 feet tall. And it had an antler spread of only about 4 to 6 feet. So it's immense.
So basically, this moose is bigger than a Clydesdale. Hey everybody, love Ready to Connect? Become a Patreon supporter for $1 a month, and that'll earn you a shout out or a credit roll.
Love Ready to Connect? Why not support us with the Ready to Connect Enthusiast tier? For $5 a month, you get exclusive content as well as power voting on our next topics, in addition to everything you would get as a Ready to Connect supporter.
If you love Ready to Connect and you want to become a Ready to Connect insider for $10 a month, in addition to everything that you'll get in the other 2 tiers, you will also get a chance to be a guest on our podcast. All tiers, no matter how you choose to support Ready to Connect, you will be getting the podcast episodes a day early.
Thanks for supporting us.
I guess. I don't know how big a Clydesdale is. Only you would. I'm not a horse person like you.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows anything about horses, you can, the Budweiser horses, the Clydesdales, they generally weigh up from 2,300 pounds all the way up to 2,800 pounds. So this moose is almost bigger or as big as a Clydesdale.
Yeah. So, but its immense size is only part of the specter moose legend. There are many accounts that describe the specter moose as glowing with a faint and eerie light, disappearing without warning, or even passing through solid objects. So that now makes me think specter, maybe it's a ghost moose, right? Hunters frequently report that they could never get close enough to take a shot. But on the rare occasions when they did fire, bullets seemed to have no effect on it. So here are some accounts. Now, these accounts of the specter moose are quite dated. In the early 19th, in the late 19th century, early 20th century time. So we have the first reported sightings will date back to 1891. Stories of the mysterious animal having continued to the present day. Waves of sightings were reported in the 1930s. So in the span of 1932 to 1938 is when most of the sightings have been reported. So most of these encounters are within the forests along the Penobscot River, the western branch of the river, known as a Chesuncook region, Chesuncook, Chisuncook region. One of the best known accounts, this is an interesting one, came from a hunter named Houston, who stumbled upon a herd of approximately 16 moose. 3 large bulls stood watch over a group of grazing females, according to him. While 2 of the bulls appeared to be normal, healthy moose, the third towered above the others, making them look like pygmies. That's his word. This moose made the other ones look like pygmies. Houston described the enormous animal as having a luminous white coat. After briefly turning away, I don't know why you'd turn your back on these creatures, but after briefly turning away, he looked back and found that the giant moose had vanished without a trace. There are other stories that are even stranger. One of the strangest one is a group of hunters near the Molunkus Stream, Molunkus, Molunkus Stream. Now, this is coming from somebody who grew up on Long Island with a lot of different Indian names. I'm having a hard time struggling with this one. Molunkus Stream in eastern central Maine. So a group of hunters shot and killed a large white moose. All right, so now these bullets apparently killed this moose, but a spectre moose, the bullets don't have any effect. So according to them, they slit its throat and hung the carcass from a tree overnight, intending to skin and butcher it the next morning. However, when they returned, the moose had disappeared. That night, however, the supposedly dead animal reportedly walked into their camp with its throat still cut. The hunters fired at it again, but the bullets had no apparent effect, and the moose calmly wandered away. It was later reported near Ashland, roughly 90 miles to the north, where it was once again shot without injury. So these are some kind of accounts of seeing what's called the spectre moose, this immense white glowing moose. Now, some versions of this legend lore about the spectre moose portray the moose as an omen of impending disaster. One modern account claims a creature was seen near Franklin shortly before the town's restaurant was destroyed by fire in 2002, reinforcing its reputation as the bringer of misfortune. So that's the spectre moose.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I happen to know if you see a moose, don't go near it, right?
No.
They can
Right.
be dangerous. You stay away. They've been known to charge. If I'm seeing an immense white one that large, first of all, I'm not turning my back on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially seeing how you're telling us it has a rack on it, like larger than, how does it even hold its head up large? No, I wouldn't be turning my back on it. And I don't know if I'd necessarily fire on it. Like,
No,
I think I might just get the F out of there.
Right. Like you slowly back away. Yeah.
I'll be screaming that card game. I'm out. Go back.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Go fish.
Okay. So here is an interesting one called The Goat Man of Cherryfield, Maine. The Goat Man of Cherryfield, Maine. So as the story goes, back in the 1950s, you know what? I need to be able to see my research. Hold on. If I put on my reading glasses, I just can't see you guys. All right. Back in the 1950s, a Cherryfield man, so Cherryfield must be a town in Maine, was driving his truck through the woods outside town. He was a local, and he spent most of his time hunting, fishing, and logging in the forests of Maine. So again, another one deep in the forest, right? So interesting, he had filled up his gas tank before he left home that day. So he was very surprised when his truck came to a gradual stop on a lonely road and his gas gauge read empty. All right, so I don't know about you guys, but any accounts of vehicles just suddenly stopping and then their instruments not really working right says to me like UFO, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just need a blinking light or something, right? So he got out and checked the tank. It indeed was empty, but he had just filled it up. So he checked the bottom of the truck, but couldn't see a leak, and he didn't see any sign of a gas dripping on the road. He was annoyed, apparently puzzled. But when he got up from looking under the truck and turned around, he saw something standing in the middle of the road that terrified him. It was a man who was half human and half goat. His lower body and legs were naked, hairy, and shaped like a goat's, while the torso was human, shaped and covered in a flannel shirt.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, a flannel shirt. Goat horns grew out of his head, and his ears were pointed like an animal's. So other than the flannel shirt, doesn't it sound very much like a satyr, right?
Yeah.
Or the mythical god Pan, right? It sounds very much like that. So apparently this half-naked goat man smiled at the cherry field man and then slowly sauntered into the woods. The man got back into his truck and locked the door. He tried to start the truck, hoping desperately that he could drive home on fumes, but to his surprise, the engine started. His gas gauge now read full. He drove home without incident and never saw the goat man again.
Okay.
So now, is this just a matter of maybe having too much moonshine or something and seeing a goat man? Or I don't know.
Maybe
I don't know, but
good luck charm.
Yeah. There are a lot of interesting things about this story, though. So, first of all, it's fun to have a goat man that's been seen in New England, right?
True.
Because they've been seen in other parts of the nation, apparently. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for that, other goat men in our nation. Particularly, they said down in Maryland, Kentucky, and Texas. So we'll have our eyes out for that. Apparently, a goat man has also been seen in Williamston, Massachusetts. So when we get to Massachusetts, I'm going to check that out. But I didn't do any further research on those sightings. But it's kind of interesting that we have them in Maine. Second, like I said before, that empty gas tank is pretty interesting because I do believe that I've read, and maybe you guys have, about alien abduction UFO sightings, that when you drive down an isolated road, mysteriously the car stops, right? It seems to follow that pattern. So all these stories, forces from other world disrupt our technology in order to make themselves known to us. So did this goat man interrupt his technology so that he could be seen and known to us? Is it like another part of our world, kind of like saying, hey, heads up, we do exist? I don't know. And the other thing I found interesting about this was the flannel shirt, right? And I know you did, Ryan, too, because your eyes picked up like, what?
Yeah,
Flannel?
that's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Where did he get the flannel shirt?
Yeah. Which country store did he buy that at?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So all I can think of about is it's in Maine. It's chilly in Maine. Of course he's going to wear a flannel shirt. And I do happen to know that there have been sightings of Bigfoot in Maine that wear a flannel shirt. So
I don't know if I heard that one, but okay.
yeah.
I wonder if the Bigfoot in Norwich had a flannel shirt on.
Yeah. And I just happen to know that there is another creature that does take people's clothing. So
Well, I mean, if you're hanging your laundry out on the line and it fits, why not take it, right?
Especially if it's cold. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. I don't know. I just found the goat man. I just found that it's only that one sighting, to be honest. So I don't know how real or verified that is. And it's one guy's account, right?
But it still fits.
But it still fits into the cryptid. And I thought, well, because there's been many reports of other goat men across the country, if we report on the first one, we'll have to see if these stories do they have the same thing? Does a car stop? Are they wearing a piece of clothing? I don't know. Maybe they have a hat on. I don't know.
Did it drain your gas tank? Exactly.
Yeah, those kind of things. And I just
maybe the goat man stole the gas so that he could drive off to another state.
Maybe.
I mean, is it the same goat man in other states wearing the same shirt? And you just see him traveling around.
Blue. What color is this flannel? Is it red and black? What do we got going on here? Is it from Cabela's?
Yeah.
Are we going to have to create a map of the goat man? Like, where's he traveling to next?
Oh, that's funny.
I think if we do get a goat man more than once, we'll definitely have to track the goat man like we did the ladies in color, right?
Yes.
And we'll definitely have to do a map when we do Bigfoot, right? But
Right.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. There's so many for me to report on in Maine. I don't know which to go to next. Do I go to a lake monster? Do I go to another one in the woods? I'm going to go to one that I think is just so strange, and I would like to see this creature, and it's called the Tote Road Shagamaw.
Wait, say that again.
The Tote Road Shagamaw.
Shagama? Like shagging?
Shag-a-maw.
All right, I want to hear about this. That's fascinating.
So it's one of Maine's most distinctive creatures from the tradition of lumberjack folklore. It's considered a fearsome critter. It's amused workers in remote logging camps of the 19th and early 20th centuries. So according to legend, the Shagamaw is a bizarre hybrid, another hybrid here, with front paws of a bear and the hind legs of a moose.
If you like what you're hearing and want to check out more podcasts from Artist Haven Media or are interested in recording a podcast at our studio, find out more information by visiting our website at artisthavenmedia.com.
That sounds awful. That just sounds so ergonomically incorrect.
Now, it only talks about the legs. It doesn't talk about what the actual body looks like.
Even Ryan, I can see his face, like his eyebrows up. He's like, what are we talking about?
If we have a talented sketch artist in our listeners, if you want to draw us and send us a picture of some hybrid that has the front paws of a bear and the hind legs of a moose, I'd love to see it. Apparently, the Tote Road Shagamaw spends its time wandering tote roads, which are really rough trails used to transport supplies between logging camps. That's why it's called the Tote Road Shagamaw, because it's where you're going to find its tracks. And it's famous for leaving alternating bear and moose tracks. So apparently, every quarter mile, the creature flips from walking on its hind legs to its forelegs. So it goes from standing upright and walking to doing a handstand and walking.
Well, yeah, I would imagine his paws get heavy.
I don't know. I just thought it was like, so apparently he does this so it will bewilder the hunters and woodsmen. And because of this kind of trail, it sparked many arguments over whether they were following a bear or a moose. These huntsmen, right? What am I following? Is it a bear or is it a moose? And it's really just the Shagamaw being a dick. Oh, excuse my French. I mean,
we are PG-13, right? So.
Yeah, just playing around with everybody. Ha ha. I'm a moose, I'm a bear. And it's interesting. The every quarter of a mile is interesting because if you were to count the actual gait, like steps, it's every 440 paces. So, which is a number of paces that are in a quarter mile.
Wow.
And it will switch its method of walking. So apparently, despite its intimidating appearance, which we only know what the legs look like. I don't know what the head or the body looks like, but it's described as shy and harmless, preferring to avoid people while scavenging for discarded clothing, such as mittens, boots, and rubbers left along logging trails.
So this has a very Paul Bunyan feel. So is his flannel shirt blue and black?
I don't know. So anyway, I guess, the Tote Road Shagamaw, it does show the imagination and wit of the logging culture maybe in Maine. I don't know if this is more a campfire telling or a mythical creature, but it's been a legend or lore in the logging area of Maine, the lumberjack lore, for many years, centuries. So maybe there is something to the Tote Road Shagamaw.
So I say we jump in the car because we can get to Maine pretty accessibly from here. And we go to a local diner and we just start asking questions. What do you think?
What do you know about the specter moose? What do you know about the tote road?
Yeah.
Well, you have to be up, I think, in the logging area, right, for those lore. And of course, I have 3 others, but I'm going to save those for bonus content, and I'll report on the Argo Pelter, the monster of Pocomo Moonshine Lake, and Cassie, the Casco Bay sea monster. And you can find that in bonus content for our Patreon. But I just found that the Goat Man, the Totro Shagamont, and the Spectre Moose to be, well, first of all, I think the Spectre Moose, because its latest sighting was in the 2000s, was interesting. But I just, I don't know. When do you see someone, a hybrid of a bear and moose? Only in Maine, right?
Maybe New Hampshire. Maybe Canada. I don't know. Like this is something we need to explore. Like,
well, maybe in Canada, because when I was doing the research on it, and it would show like a map of the range of this cryptid, right? The lore of this cryptid, it did go into Canada. So
sure. Definitely.
Anyway, that was what I found as cryptids in Maine. So why don't we go south to either Vermont or New Hampshire? Who'd like to go next?
How about New Hampshire?
Do it.
All right. New Hampshire may be small, one of the smallest states in New England, actually, but don't let the size fool you. So I dove in and found a couple stories in New Hampshire. These stories have been passed down for generations. Some are based on eyewitness accounts, and some are local folklore, which, you know, it's something we always talk about. Like, if there's folklore around it, it must have happened at some point. I mean, how else would you come up with the folklore? Unless somebody had some really great imagination. I don't know, right?
I agree. I think there's some sort of validity to folklore. You know, somewhere there is a piece of truth in that, right?
Correct.
Right.
It's not just a cautionary tale, right? Like, you don't just make that up.
Right.
And yeah, so it was interesting to kind of dive into the supernatural of New Hampshire and their cultural history. So my first encounter of research was the Coos County Wood Devil. It's often called New Hampshire's version of Bigfoot, although witnesses insist it has its own unique appearance. Unlike the broad-shouldered Sasquatch reported in the Pacific Northwest, the wood devil is typically described as being much leaner, which, what does that mean? Like skinnier? Like a basketball player skinnier?
More muscular, less flabby.
Okay. I've never seen a Sasquatch, but I would imagine Sasquatches aren't that flabby, but this was definitely leaning towards that they were much leaner. And of the witnesses' consistencies, there was this description that these Coos County wood devils were 7 to 9 feet tall, long arms hanging like nearly down to their knees. Like, that's tall. Like, it's very rare in our culture where we see a human over 6, 7 feet tall, right? So imagine encountering something 9 feet tall. That would be a little bit off-putting. I would think so.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like as tall as a tree.
Yeah, like an old oak tree, right? Yeah. And then to have arms all the way down to their knees. That I would hate to have to make a shirt for that. That's a lot of arm.
Definitely not feeling a flannel shirt off a clothesline.
Yeah, no reports of the Coos County Wood Devil wearing any flannel shirts, though, unfortunately.
So I guess instead of how with the Haunted America we were like, oh, so and so wearing green, so and so wearing like a hat. I guess this time it's gonna be, are they wearing a flannel shirt? Like.
Probably. It's funny. I was just thinking about this. All the 2 that I report on with the flannel shirt and the one that would steal the clothing. Was this a way for someone to say, you get home, where are your mittens? The mom or your wife, where are your mittens? Where are your boots? Oh, the Shagama stole it.
Exactly. Definitely. The Coos County Wood Devil is also said to be gray or silver shaggy hair. Extremely muscular. This is what I found interesting, though. A narrow, horse-like or elongated face. So how I don't even know how to like use my imagination to come up with. Somebody's going to have to sketch this for me. 9 feet tall, right? Shaggy gray hair, horse-like or elongated face. Like, how do you, I can't even like envision this through description. And they say that this cryptid actually moves at a speed that is not radarable. Like it's like
Whoa.
light speed, and it does it in silence.
It's like the
So
Flash.
yeah, like the Flash Gordon. And here's how you know it's around. It produces an overpowering, musky, rotten odor, a lot like a wet dog or rotting vegetation, or a very sulfuric smell, right?
Okay, you know what we're both
Oh,
Brian and I looked at the same time. Did you have a visit from
Oh
one
my
of these
God.
with outside your house giving you the wet dog smell?
All right, I'm convinced now. The Coos County Wood Devil is in my living room. 'Cause
No,
I
but
just
were you? It's interesting because if you were researching at the time or
I was.
that day,
I
and
was.
that smell, I mean, maybe they were outside your house looking in, saying, "Hey, you're talking about me. I'm gonna like, you know."
Well, I yelled out to him, I'm here to listen if you want to talk to me, and
There you go.
didn't get any reply other than a really bad smell of wet dog.
I gotta go check and make sure my husband has all his flannel shirts now because maybe, you know.
Yeah, because I don't own a flannel. Did he come to your house, Ryan?
No.
No, Watson scared him off, right?
Yeah.
Little old Watson scared the 9-foot
Yep.
devil away. So this cryptid is said to be around Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, Errol, New Hampshire, Dixville Notch, Stewartstown, or remote areas of Coos County. Which Coos County, I was looking up the region. It's kind of up there on that Maine and Canada border. So
Okay.
again, we're circling back to like this could be coming out of Canada. This could be coming down through Maine,
Right.
maybe down into Vermont. You never know, right? They're definitely using probably old logging roads and lots of woods up there still. Gratefully that there's still a lot of woods up there, not being chopped down for housing. But you know, they, according to accounts, you know, this is where few people travel. So they're definitely, you know, immersed into the woods and off roads, roads that don't have any traffic either. So to see one, you'd have to be probably up there hunting or fishing or some kind of logging. Maybe I would love to talk to maybe some loggers that might be able to put an eyewitness to this. But reports date back all the way to the 1930s. I couldn't find any recent accounts of this being seen, but people notice when they are nearby, branches breaking nearby, heavy footsteps, large silhouettes, glowing eyes reflecting like headlights. Now, when I smelled this in my living room, there was none of this. So no glowing eyes looking back at me. But drivers have reported seeing something very enormous, and they say that they've stopped, and this kind of creature only takes like 2 steps across the road because they're so large. Witness often say like, I thought it was a bear, but then they realize a bear doesn't stand up and walk. Some people have said, is this a moose? It's enormous, but it's too enormous to be a moose. So unlike the movie monsters, the wood devil doesn't seem to be aggressive. It seems to like observe people and disappear very quickly. So it's more afraid of us than it is than of. Well, I'd be terrified. I'm not.
Yeah, I just say I don't know about that.
I'd be terrified, but then I'd also be very fascinated, and then I would want to play with them. No.
Not playing with them. You could play with them.
Yeah. But it says that it does avoid confrontation from the eyewitnesses, and it just kind of melds into the forest. So, it's hard to explain, but it's probably not a, wandering person. It's probably not a standing moose. It's probably not a misidentified black bear, which is huge up there in that region. And the cryptozoologists suggest that it really does a lot like a Sasquatch, likes the unpopulated areas, unknown for us to kind of go up in there.
Right.
Yeah. So, have you guys ever had a feeling something was watching you in the woods? Do you guys walk in the woods?
Oh, I get that feeling all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's like a Sasquatch thing or if it's just, tree spirit or all that other kind of stuff. Yeah.
How about you, Ryan? When you're walking Watson down at Valley Falls, you feel anything staring at you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know what it is, but I do get that feeling like when we're out and about.
Absolutely. And my other question would be is how could a large unknown animal still remain hidden today with all our satellites, with all our technology? How is this creature doing that? How is it staying, under the radar, so to speak? Well,
I think even if it's in a densely wooded area, I think there's interference with getting pictures like that. I don't know.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably blending in somehow.
Or in a different dimension, possibly.
Definitely. Cloaking, right? Cloaking, well, we would call it technology, but back in the day, they had some way of cloaking their being, right? So that was the first one I investigated, and now I'm going to move on to the Danville devil monkey. Yeah, devil monkey. And when I started looking at images of this thing, it looks like I don't even know how to explain it. Like
a monkey that's a devil.
It has.
Oh, it looks like a gibbon almost. A gibbon with a lion mane.
Yeah, it's got like this incredible, like elongated face with the big werewolf ears, and its eyes are kind of close together with a long snout. It was. I'll send this over to you so we can get it posted up on Patreon too. But an incredible drawing has come out of this research, and it's very hard to explain, but compared to the wood devil, the devil monkey is a little bit newer. Its fame began in 2001.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so residents of the Danville report seeing this incredibly strange animal, and it's unlike anything that actually exists up in New Hampshire. So it has like this baboon body. It has long arms. It's been said to have powerful legs and really sharp claws. And dark fur. All the images that I looked up have the animal with dark fur and very large, like canine teeth. And apparently, this devil monkey has a screech that's so loud that it'll pierce your ears intensely. And so witnesses were describing the scream as like you can't ignore it. It's impossible to ignore. It doesn't belong in the setting. It doesn't belong in like the typical woods of New Hampshire. And some people, some of the witnesses said that it sounds like a woman screaming in labor, which, oof, that doesn't sound fun. Some people described that.
Wait, so it swears? It swears?
Screams.
Yeah, but a woman.
Yeah, swearing.
I was screaming swears when I was, yeah.
Yeah, I think I dropped a few F-bombs during my delivery. Yeah, but some people say it sounds like a high-pitched mountain lion. And then one witness said the scream sounded so piercing that it actually sounded like metal like somebody scratching metal. Like if you were to take your car and drive down a Jersey barrier with that high pitched metal scraping. Yeah,
it's like nails on a chalkboard sound.
Yeah, yeah. So why the devil monkey? I guess the nickname comes from reports across America. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to have to see if this devil monkey's going across America. Right. Another thing, it doesn't have a flannel shirt, but it does go across America. Some of the states that have also reported this devil monkey is Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky. And these states have devil monkey legends. So I can't wait to progress across the United States again and see if this cryptid is how other states are viewing this cryptid. They don't even know if it just exists in North America. Some people claim that this is something from Europe. I don't know. No tangible proof without going on to a major research of other countries that have this. But yeah, so eyewitness accounts say that people see this devil monkey like walking. Of course, it moves at speed of light, so I'm not really sure when it slows down. I guess they're seeing it, but it has like long arms, and when it moves, it swings the arms. I guess so it won't drag on the ground, right? Some people have claimed it does move like an ape, but it's interesting that this creature could be surviving in New Hampshire, especially the winters of New Hampshire. They're extremely difficult up there. Like Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, they have really tough winters. So it would make sense that maybe this creature is moving up and down or across the United States to go to warmer weather.
Maybe. It's interesting because I was looking at that sketch that you had, the picture, and it looks like such a combination of different animals. I wonder if it's like a genetic kind of
mishap,
or did someone create this, in a lab by crossing genes of the baboon with the lion, with the gibbon, with the, I don't know.
I mean, we can't denote that there's probably government labs all over the world doing genetic modifications, right? I mean, without jumping down any major bunny hole here, which would be very easy to go down a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
But, there are thousands, if not more, facilities out there doing genetic modification, and maybe this guy escaped.
I don't know. It was interesting. Well, they'd have to escape and then multiply to have them in so many different places. But I just found it really kind of interesting when you looked at that picture. I could see animals that I recognize, but all put together, or maybe it's just an evolutionary thing where I don't know. I don't know. It was just kind of interesting. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue.
No, this is all fascinating because these are all the questions I had too. Like, how is this happening? Like, if it is a genetic escapee, it wouldn't have a mate.
Right.
If we hearken around to Sasquatch, there is so much proof out there now that Sasquatch does mate, and there's primal babies. And when I was doing this research, it didn't appear that there was a mate for this. So what's its lifespan? If it's able to go up and down and left and right across America, what's its lifespan? I don't even know what a lifespan of a baboon or a monkey is. I mean, I know it's long, right?
Yeah.
It's longer than ours.
Oh, I don't know about art. I don't know, but I have technology and I will figure this out. The lifespan.
All right. Well, while you're figuring this out, I'm going to go on to my last one that I researched, the Dublin lake monster. Yeah. We love lake monsters, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Even Vermont has a lake monster.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Maine had one. Oh, real quick, before you get in, baboons live for 20 to 30 years in the wild. They can reach up to 40 to 45 in captivity.
Okay, so it's not a long lifespan then.
Well, it's longer than your average dog.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. Interesting. So the Dublin lake monster, I was doing some research, looked up images of this lake. It is absolutely the lake is Mount Monad. I'm going to butcher this. I apologize. It's Monadnock, Mount Monadnock Lake, and it's surrounded by mountains. They believe that this cryptid lives beneath the water. Dublin Lake has long carried stories of mysterious underwater caverns, which are near, like I said, the Mount Monadnock, which is a frequently climbed mountain up in New Hampshire. But folklore says that this beautiful Dublin lake monster does surface, and it hides in the air pockets, and this is how it survives. I'm sure there's more to it. I mean, if you look up stories of Nessie, they believe Nessie can, use the different cave systems, go out to sea, and some believe that Nessie is interdimensional, which, you know what, maybe the Dublin lake monster is Nessie coming from Scotland. I don't know.
or the neighboring Maine, because Maine has a lake monster as well.
Oh, all right. And you're going to put that up on Patreon, right?
Patreon, yep.
Yeah. And then correlate it with, what's the Vermont lake monster?
Yep.
Champy.
Yep. Champ. We're going to talk about him. Yep.
All right. So some people say that they've seen the Dublin lake monster look like a very enormous eel, very serpentine. So a couple people said it was just an unusually extremely large fish. People have reported seeing long and very long dark shadows moving beneath the water under their boats. I'll tell you what, if I'm paddling around and something enormous goes under my kayak, I'm gonna have to take a few deep breaths.
Before you go much further, it'll be up on Patreon, but the Poco Moonshine Lake monster is eel-like as well, known to be snake serpentine-like. So I wonder if it is a species that's in our lakes.
Absolutely. Using the caverns to go lake to lake, up and down, that whole northern border.
Well, apparently, I'll report more about that, but that's interesting. Keep going.
Yeah, and you know what? Just even though our last segment of ghost stories, we didn't do anything in Canada, maybe at the end of this America Cryptids, maybe we go up into Canada and see if we can find some accounts of this.
Yeah.
And put it up on Patreon.
Yep.
So deep lakes, very naturally occurring. They believe that it's geological. Just a lot of folklore around, the kind of the cryptid of this eel or sea, creature, lake creature. I find it very interesting. It's unknown to us down here in, obviously Connecticut, but who's to say it's not moving down the Connecticut River? I mean, the Connecticut River does come all the way down from up north. Found it very fascinating, very unexplainable. The legend is pretty thin right now. I tried to gather as much information, but that is all I could find of what I've talked about. It's definitely, people have seen this evidence, so I want to say that we can't just chalk it off to, just a conspiracy theory cryptid. But I do equate it. Oh, and you're right. It does equate to the Ogopogo and then Lake Champlain and then Nessie. So I'm wondering if this animal is definitely interdimensional.
Sounds like it.
Now I'm going to toss it over to you, Ryan. What you got?
What's in Vermont?
What's in Vermont?
Besides good maple syrup, what's in Vermont?
There you go. Yes. So with Vermont, the first one that I found, I'm going to report on a couple here. It was actually mentioned when my father and I went on a hot air balloon ride back in October. We got to see all types of sights, and the tour guide there who flying the balloons, he's like, oh, and then there's Lake Champlain and Champ the sea monster. He's located over there, and I was like, oh, I wish we could fly over the lake with the hot air balloon and see the monster, but
yes,
that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be cool.
Yes,
that didn't happen on that trip, but there is.
Wait a second. Do you have a drone?
No, I don't.
All right. Any listener out there that wants to take a road trip, let's take a drone out there and see if we can find them.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned that, Heather, because there has been a recent sighting with a drone, so I'll talk about that in a second.
Awesome.
But with Champ, it's the Lake Champlain monster. That's what Champ is known for. Often known as America's Loch Ness monster. Champ is Vermont's most famous cryptid. Sightings of this serpentine, or let's see, they say plesiosaur-like creature in the 120-mile long lake date back to indigenous Abenaki legends, and also dating back to Samuel de Champlain's records in the early 1600s. So this goes back to the 1600s. And as well as probably earlier than that. Today, tourists and locals alike continue to scan the deep waters for its signature humped back. There have been over 300 to 600 reported sightings of Champ, spanning centuries. So it's just incredible. The most famous sighting was actually more recent in 1977. It's called the Mancy photograph. So while vacationing on the lake, Sandra Mancy snapped a photograph showing a distinct long neck plesiosaur, I'm butchering that word, like creature, probably dinosaur-like creature, rising out of the water. And it remains the most heavily analyzed and famous visual piece of evidence to date. However, the most recent sighting is, you're not going to believe this, June of this year.
Whoa!
June 2026. So just last month. Yep, that was the most recent sighting. So, let's see. It features new high-definition drone footage and cell phone videos.
Oh my gosh.
So the eyewitness and filmmakers, let's see, it says retired town supervisor Thomas Scozafera, I'm butchering your last name, sorry, sir, captured cell phone videos from a hill, while local filmmakers Kelly Tabor and Richard Rossi captured high-definition drone footage while filming a children's movie called Lucy and the Lake Monster.
Oh my gosh. So, is Lucy and the Lake Monster a lot like Pete's Dragon? What are we doing?
Yeah. So, I don't know. But apparently, And then the drone footage showed a large, distinctive shape moving behind an 11-foot rowboat, providing a clear visual scale. So, yeah.
And you know what? We can jump in the car. We can get up to Vermont. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
I have to interject here because I did a small stint at UVM, and we used to go over to the lake all the time. And it was kind of like a nice, safe haven to just go. I love being by the water. And never saw anything visually, but being clairvoyant and clairaudient, and all the other clairs activated, I always found it fascinating because you definitely have a different sense there. Not like when you go to Coventry Lake or Bolton Lake, there's a different sense about, the lake there. And I don't know, maybe I wasn't cued in my teenage years, but I would definitely love to go and cue in again and see if we can, get some feels, get some visuals, get all our, our clairvoyance and sentiments on and see what we can come up with, right?
Especially if there's been sightings so recent as last month. That's incredible.
Instead of following the goat man or the devil monkey, maybe we should follow lake monsters. Because there was one in Maine, which will be at Patreon, Cassie from Casco Bay, and then you have the one in New Hampshire, and now the one in Vermont.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe, as we said, maybe they're traveling. Who knows? Or maybe there's just a lake monster in every state.
For sure.
And you know what? Maybe some of them will be wearing flannel shirts. Some will have hats. We don't know.
Don't know.
It does get cold up there. We'll probably be wearing flannels.
Too funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to let them borrow it.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I'd be curious if any listeners have seen Champ. It's just I found it so fascinating that like there was a recent sighting. Because I know with a lot of these, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well the recent sightings were a long time ago, so you never know. But yeah, so want to start
And
off with that.
I would be interested in having Lisa having a conversation with your oldest boy. I know he went to school up there, and I believe he frequented that lake quite often. I'd be interested to see if he has any.
He went to the other side of Vermont. I don't think he was near Lake Champlain. He was up near the Canadian border, up on the other side of Vermont, closer to New Hampshire.
Oh, okay. So no, probably not then. Unless Champ is like going up on a ski slope and coming down when nobody's looking.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You never know.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So that was Champ. And then we're moving on over to Northfield. You have the Pigman of Northfield.
Oh God, you gotta love a Pigman.
Yeah.
Does he wear flannel?
Pigman, okay.
Yeah. So
does the Pigman wear flannel?
Nope. Apparently, the Pigman might be naked, but so someone's got to give Pigman a flannel shirt.
Yeah.
But according to
we're gonna milk this flannel shirt for as long as we possibly can.
Yep.
Come on, it's just funny.
It is funny.
So according to it says local Washington County lore, the Pigman is a humanoid creature with the head or features of a pig. So yeah, the legend often involves they're wondering whether it's a botched local experiment or a hermit. It also ties into I want to say like a mystery of a local 17-year-old boy named Sam Harris who went missing in 1951. And they're saying that he transformed into a monster and now roams the local woods. So
that's the mythical. Let's just jump onto a logical sense here. Maybe this child had some form of Down syndrome.
Some type of
some kind of defect.
Yeah.
I mean, from a scientific point of view, I believe in a lot of mythical things, but like it's very hard for me to get my head around that this child took on a pig-like image. I'm wondering if it's a deformity that isolated him and ostracized him.
Sure. It could easily have been some sort of syndrome, birth defect, whatever kind of thing.
And then he was ostracized, right?
Yeah, because they're saying the Northfield Pigman, also known as the Vermont Pigman, is a famous local legend and cryptid from the town of Northfield, Vermont, described as a humanoid creature standing between 5'6" and 5'8" tall. So, okay, could be a size of a human. Is said to be covered in white, downy hair and possesses a hideous pig-like face. And this started also around the time. It centers around Sam Harris, who was a 17-year-old high school student who went missing in Northfield on the eve of Halloween in 1951. According to folklore, he was never found, but years later, strange sightings began occurring near the town's wooded areas. So, for instance, they're saying a local farmer reported seeing a similar figure going through garbage cans at night and then fleeing into the woods when confronted. Most sightings and stories trace back to a rugged forested area just outside of town known as the Devil's Wash Bowl. So I guess that's where he's been seen. And yeah, but now the Pigman has transitioned into Town Tale, as well as, let's see, there's a book, the 1999 book Green Mountains, Dark Tales. It's also been featured on television shows like Monsters and Mysteries in America. So yeah, so found that interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but I also found it interesting because it centered around a teenager who went missing as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's why my spidey senses went up and said, okay, maybe this is,
Something, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
more realistic.
Right.
And if it is living in the woods, it would, right? It would go down into Devil's Washbowl, which is Warwick, Massachusetts, which butts up against, that whole corner of Vermont, and then we go up into New Hampshire and Maine and so forth. So it could easily be, traveling through the woods that way and living off the land. Very fascinating. Very fascinating.
I like it. I like it. What else you got?
And the last one I have, I had to pick one that it might sound silly to pronounce, just like when I had something in Glastonbury, Connecticut. We were talking about hauntings, that was kind of silly. Anyway, so it's the Wampa Hoofus.
Oh.
Wampa Whoopus? Whoopus?
The Wampa Hoofus.
Hoofus.
Kind of reminds me of a mountain goat, in all honesty. So it comes from the slopes of Mount Mansfield. The Wampa Hoofus is a legendary mountain fearsome critter, described as a deer-like mammal with asymmetrical legs, designed specifically for walking along steep mountain inclines. But here's the weird part. The creature is said to only walk in one direction around the mountain.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a gravitational flow.
It just kind of.
Here's a good thing: if it's a fierce creature,
fearsome critter, yeah.
If it's a fearsome critter, and maybe it can hurt you, right?
Yeah.
If you wait for it to pass by, it can't back up and come back to get you.
No, it can't come back. No, it just.
So you can follow it. You can actually follow it.
Yeah, it won't turn around. No,
it won't turn around.
Yeah,
you can follow it. Heather's lost it. So what happens? Does it? So if it wanted to get back to where it started, it would have to walk all the way around the mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
On asymmetrical legs, because if it went on flat ground, it would wobble.
Yep, exactly. And
it would tip over.
So that's why they call it the flat ground trap. So when it's on level ground, the what do we call it? The Wampa Hoofus loses its balance or spins helplessly in circles on flat ground. So it's, I think we've lost Heather entirely. So
I think I've seen drunk people like that.
Yeah.
You know what? This would be a great, like, you know how you have Twister as a board game? We could call what's it called? The Wampa Hoofus? Yeah. We can make the Wampa Hoofus game where you need to be like asymmetrical and then spin, but you can only go in one direction.
Yeah. This sounds like a riddle of some sort now, but
It sounds almost like that thing where people put their forehead on a bat and they run around it in circle, and then they act like they're asymmetrical because they can't walk straight, but they can only go in one direction because they can't back up.
And then they have to hit a piñata afterwards.
It's called the Wampa Hoofus game now.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to play that for our birthdays, Lisa.
Yeah,
yeah. So there have been some sightings, of course. So apparently, it dates back to the early 1900s. According to the legend, massive logging operations and environmental changes at the turn of the century drove them from their mountain habitats. Which then led to extinction.
Well, of course, these poor creatures, they spun out of control, apparently, because if they're forced off the mountain, they go to the flat ground. They just spin and spin and spin.
Yep. There's also a rock sighting. So I guess there's a rock formation that looks that looks perfectly like the profile of this creature. So now it's named as the Wampahufas Trail, where the rock sighting is. So that's pretty cool. And then of course there's April Fool's sightings. So I don't know if I believe those.
It's April Fool's Day, so that's when you can see your Wampahufas.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, but here's the interesting fact. So regarding the directional travel here, so the males supposedly walk clockwise direction around the mountain, and then the females walk counterclockwise.
This is why they're extinct, because only can they meet up to, to make babies.
To mate.
I mean, they'd have to walk around the mountain again to meet them up again.
Yep, it's like, sorry, this was a missed opportunity.
Sorry.
Gotta walk around again.
I'm not in the mood today. I'll catch you on the go around.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And we can't meet on flat surface. Sorry.
Aside from the weird story, I just like saying Wampahufas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like saying Wampahufas.
So yeah.
That was a Wampahufas encounter, meaning I'm not going to meet up with it again until I have to go around a whole circle.
It's a misconnection, yeah.
Well, that was a Wampahufas moment.
Oh, are we going to put this into our language now?
I think we should. I think it should be one of our new words.
Our catchphrases?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, God.
So anyway, so that's what well, at least we're ending it on laughter, so that's great.
How could you not?
Listeners are having just as much fun envisioning this because it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Well, I suppose if you want to be like kind of isolated, but every now and then you need a friend, you need to be a Wampahufas.
There you go.
Like I just go around the mountain and then you wait a couple more days and go around the mountain again.
For your introverts that want to be a little bit extroverted.
Absolutely. Yes, just walk around a mountain and eventually you'll find someone.
Oh, gosh.
Just don't back up.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
absolutely.
Thanks for the humor.
I just found it funny that they were driven extinct because they had to go off the mountain.
Yeah.
And that's what made them extinct, because on the flat ground, all they could do was spin.
Yeah. Yep. I know. It's yeah. So that's that.
Wow.
I just envisioned like a whole Mario Kart game going on right there. Like,
okay, sure.
Racing around the mountain, and then when we get down, we turn into the spinny thing that hits people.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's hope that our next episode, where we're going to go into the states of Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island, have just as interesting and entertaining cryptids for us to find out. Right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what we find.
Yeah.
Me either.
Oh, that'll be great. Well, and until then, we look forward to being in your ears. Until next week, get ready to connect.
Thank you for tuning in to Ready to Connect. If you're interested in exclusive behind-the-scenes content, be sure to like, share, and follow us on social media by searching for Ready to Connect Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And for those looking to further support our podcast, consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/readytoconnectpodcast. And until next time, get ready to connect.